Welcome back to our second video. This one we're going to focus on getting the body ready. So because there's conduit paths where wiring needs to run through the guitar, the best way we've decided to do it is the way that Les Paul handles their assembly, which is to have one body blank and then a cap over top of it, and to pre-route your conduits and then put the cap piece over top and be done. So we started out with this piece of mahogany, and after looking at it and thinking about 1/4 inch and what we have to do with it and the various depths, I got really squeamish about having a 1/4 inch cap and decided something between 3/8 and a 1/2 inch would be better. And mahogany is pretty pricey. So we then ordered a piece of poplar, and we've assembled a second piece. And the body blank is basswood. So we're actually going to have 3 pieces of body wood going on. We're going to have a primarily basswood body with a poplar and mahogany laminate. I've had guitars made out of all 3 and they all sound fantastic. So I don't have any qualms about that. I feel pretty confident that it's not going to make for any major problems with tonality. We'll see, and maybe we'll do another body later on that's less hybridized. But the technique we're going to go with is these two are going to get sandwiched. They've been processed and prepared on these surfaces to be put together. We're going to use Gorilla Glue. We're going to press it in the center and then C-clamp it around the edges. The press is going to happen under the stairwell. We're going to use the stairs and a scissor jack as the center press, and it's going to deliver pressure in the middle, and then we'll put C-clamps around the outside edges once we're confident that that's set in place. Here's all of our C-clamps, and of course, because we don't want this to get stuck in place, we're also going to use some layers of wax paper on the surface as a contact barrier, and then we're going to be distributing the force by putting it up against a nice smooth piece of plywood that's almost the exact same size as the tops. It's just a tiny bit smaller, and
tiny bit bent.
Everything else is going to get moved down now, and so next time you see us, we're going to be crowded underneath the stairwell setting everything up.
Probably in a lot of pain.
Yep. All right, see you down there. All right, so we're here. This is underneath the stairs in a dark cabinet. Here's the piece of poplar ready to go. And this is what's going to give us our pressure again in the center line of the poplar. And then the clamps will go around the outside edges. I've already put down a thing of wax paper on the bottom so that if it squeezes out on the edges, it doesn't get in contact with anything and cause it to harden up there and make problems. Got some paper towels ready. Here's our Gorilla Glue. We got all of our clamps set, and over here is the other piece of poplar, the other piece of mahogany. So, just checking for any dirt and debris. It's not a perfect piece of wood,
but it'll get the job done.
And it's not the surface piece either.
Yeah.
So. And we're going to go by our middle names?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ray over here has already been warned about the hazards of Gorilla Glue.
Mm-hmm. That's why we got the paper towels.
For those of you out there that don't know, Gorilla Glue is polyurethane based, which means it's going to be impervious to water. Under a tightly clamped bond is nearly perfect glue. Much better than your standard wood glues. But anything it touches is pretty much destroyed. As far as clothes, it stains your skin and takes weeks before that clears up. You also don't have to go in incredibly thick because it expands at a rate of 4 times its applied volume. onto the surfaces. So, not a lot of application density needed. Well, I say that and then I'm going over top of it, but it's just because I don't want there to be any crack spaces. Alright. Put the cap on this. That's. Oh, sounds like we just stopped an audio. Alright. Stop yours. Hold on.
Alright. Oops.
Stop mine. And in a second I'll be ready. Okay, I'm ready to record again. 3, 2, 1, record. Alright. We're back. Had a little technological bumble, so you probably noticed the video cut out there. Glue is completely applied. It's only been a few seconds since we finished that task. So now, I'm going to set top layer down. They're not the exact same size. We just couldn't get that out of our vendor. So, c'est la vie. And then there's one more board laying around.
Isn't it right? And where'd it go?
Okay.
Alright, I'll go get it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I think it's sitting outside in the main room, leading up by the door.
Alright, got it.
Thank you. Silly me.
Got it.
Thank you. And that main board is just here basically to distribute the weight of the... to distribute the force applied by the scissor jack. So no means and way is it a part of the actual load-bearing components here.
Explain what this is doing.
This is applying force in the center of our two boards. And it's doing it up against
this piece of wood.
Yep.
Hopefully y'all can see it. If not, sorry.
It's a 2x4 that we put up against the bottom of the stairs.
And its purpose. What? You need anything else?
This is too
small.
Too small. So
alright, I'll go get some more.
We need something more for elevation purposes.
Alright, hold on.
So,
sorry for the video cutting out again. We just had to get that.
We're gonna add something in because the scissor jack is running out of elevation, and I really want it to be in good contact and not be so tall and skinny.
There we go. Alright, fits.
Okay, we're in. It's been overnighted, and now we can start taking stuff apart. Just move this back a little bit to get access. Okay.
Alright.
Relieving pressure. Yeah. Okay. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Oh, that's funny.
So we're gonna have to take off the clamps first.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep.
It's not a necessity by nature. probably, well, next time we do this, it'll be putting the facing onto the body, which adds about 2 inches of bulk, so we probably won't need all the extra crap to do that one. But we may put one more cap block on it. But I have not thought about that in depth yet.
Ow, that hurts my ears.
Squealing?
Yeah.
Maybe we should put some WD-40 on the clamps. Alright, let's go. Actually, do the wax paper. There was contact wax. It just pulls away neatly. Bonded together, 1/2 inch thick. Mahogany top. Ready to rock.
Yippee!
So next thing to do is we're going to trim the edges off of this until this is 13 inches wide, because that's how wide our planer is. And that's really the last thing that happens to this before we start setting up body templates. Alright, that's it.